I'm so excited for this video. I've always wanted to grow peanuts. They're such a cool plant with a unique growth habit. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can grow peanuts right alongside me. Hey, I'm Brian with Next Level Gardening. If you're looking to join an online garden community that offers tips, tricks, and support to help take your garden to the next level, you're in the right place. Get started now by clicking subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss anything. Now let's get growing. I've always lived by the coast my whole life, and so it was really too cool during the summer to be able to get a good harvest of peanuts, so I never even tried. However, now that I live inland, there's going to be a little more summer heat to be able to give me a nice crop of peanuts and melons, but that's a different video altogether. I'm doing this video in collaboration with Paula Wells, who just happens to be the creator of our Facebook group Next Level Gardeners. She lives in a hot, humid part of the country that has a shorter growing season than I do. I live in a warm, dry part of the country with a long growing season. And so we're going to be doing it a little bit differently between the two of us, and then at the end of the season, see how we both made out. So I'm going to link her video and her channel down below in the video description so you can follow along with both, no matter what climate you're in. Now let me know down below in the comments if you've ever grown peanuts before, or if you have no idea how peanuts grow, but you're really interested to see, because I'm telling you, they are not like any other thing I've ever grown. Now the peanut is unique because it actually, it's a legume, which you probably know, it's not a nut. The peanuts develop underground. It has yellowish pea-like flowers, very similar to peas and beans. And once that flower is fertilized, the petals drop off, and that whole stem is lowered into the ground on what's called a peg. And they root themselves, they grow into the soil where then the peanuts are developed underground. They need a long frost-free growing season with temperatures between 86 and 93. Any cooler than 86 and you're not going to get a good harvest, and prolonged temps above 93 will cause the flowers to fall off and the peanuts obviously won't form. Now you need to be frost-free for 100 to 130 days to get a harvest. Now, there are a few varieties, so if you don't have that long, there's a couple things you can do. There's some varieties. Valencia peanuts are the quickest to mature. They go from seed to harvest in 90 to 110 days. Spanish peanuts, 90 to 120 days. And Virginia peanuts and runner peanuts both require about 130 to 150 days to mature. And of course, those are the two most productive varieties. Now, other than variety, there's something else you can do if you don't have that long of a frost-free period. You can start them indoors 6 to 8 weeks before your last frost date. And Paula was doing just that. She sprouted her seeds indoors. So definitely watch her video if you're interested to see that extra step. Then, other than heat, location and soil are very important. Peanuts need full sun, 6 to 8 hours or more of direct sun every day. Peanuts like it warm. So we're gonna see if they need it humid, because I don't have the humidity at all. Paula does. So at the end of the season, we know we both get hot temperatures. She gets, I think, a little hotter, especially with the humidity. But we'll see at the end if they need humidity or if heat is enough. Now the soil needs to be really, really well draining. If you have clay soil, it's going to need a lot of amendment, because think about it, those little pods that come down into the ground, they've got to have soft enough earth to be able to get into. If you've got a hard packed clay, it's not going to work very well. So you can add sand or perlite, and the heavier your soil, the more you need to add. You really want to be able to just really pick up that soil and just be able to have it crumble apart and stay that way even after watering. So sand, perlite, and definitely lots of organic. And that organic matter is not only going to help lighten the soil, but it's going to retain moisture, which peanuts definitely need, especially in a dry climate like mine. Now I'm growing mine in a fabric raised bed from Grassroots. If you saw my video a few weeks back on the Grassroots fabric pots, same brand, just in bed form. What's great about these is they allow the plants to root prune. When the roots hit the side of the bottom of these, Instead of wrapping around the container or the bed and becoming root bound, and the sun hitting the edges and drying out those roots and making it very hard to keep your plants wet, it does that. It root prunes them so the roots are focused in the middle of the container or bed rather than around the edge. However, 3/4 of the inside of these beds are covered in a waterproof liner. It's a living soil liner which contains the moisture, keeps it in there. A lot of times fabric pots and beds are going to dry out so quickly, you're going to find yourself watering once a day, twice a day, maybe in the hot summer. And so these have solved that problem. I have a link down in the description where you can go and get these raised beds and the pots and have our next level discount added in there. Now these beds are really easy to put together. They come with all of the connectors that you see. You just have to get the PVC. It's 1-inch PVC, and then follow the directions that it comes with, cut them to length, put it together. It took me about 5 minutes for each of the beds to put together, really simple. Then put them in place and fill them up. I filled mine up last night because yesterday was hot and it's a lot of work. I did a lot of wheelbarrow fulls of compost up and down the hill. So I waited until the sun was starting to go down before I did that work. So I filled it about halfway with spent mushroom compost that was kind of half broken down. It wasn't all the way composted. And then the second half I filled with a bagged organic raised bed mix. Now, always when you're growing in raised beds, the initial setup, the filling of it with soil is probably your most expensive part. But the great thing is this soil will stay in here and just be topped up every year. So once you've got that main initial expense out of the way, you're pretty good to go ongoing. So I am adding a well-balanced granular fertilizer at planting time. I'm using the Neptune's Harvest crab and lobster and kelp meal. I also have links to those in the video description. With the discount, they are slow release and fast release just because of the makeup of the grind of those shells. And peanuts love calcium. They really need a lot of calcium, and those crab and lobster shells are going to give it to them. Now, to grow peanuts, you need to start with peanuts. Imagine that. You can get the raw peanuts from the grocery store that you can get in big bags. If you may or may not know the varieties, so especially if you live in a short summer or short season, you probably want to buy seed peanuts online. I got mine from Burpee. You'll also know the varieties, so you'll know what to expect. And if there's different uses for different varieties. If you're really a peanut connoisseur, you'll want the variety for those uses. But you also can use a raw in the shell peanut. Just don't do roasted, salted, all that. You won't. I have heard that you can grow peanuts, you can just plant the whole thing, which makes sense, but I'm going to shell mine, and then I'll get, a couple of seeds per peanut. Now to start inside, again, go to the link below for Paula's video. She's going to show you how to do that. I'm good starting outside here. We have a long growing season. My frost won't be here until like January. So I'm going to plant these into these raised beds 2 inches deep and 8 inches apart. So I just had a last minute thought. I'm going to cover this bed with fleece because I can't imagine a bigger draw to your garden for squirrels than peanuts. Now going forward, I will make update videos to show you what's going on. I'm really going to try, and this is a long shot, I'm going to try to get a time-lapse video of those pegs being lowered down into the soil. Do not hold me to that because that's going to be difficult to do, I'm sure, since I looked on YouTube and I don't see one video with that on it. So it's a hope, it's a pipe dream, but if I can make it happen, I'm going to. But like I said, we'll go through the whole season together. I'll give you updates quite often to show you how things are doing. Follow Paula's video, especially if you live in a shorter season climate. And it's just going to be fun to compare the two all through the season. Let me know if you have any tips that you can share if you've grown peanuts in the past. This is my first time, so I'd love to know any helpful hints that you've come up with over the years. I do have links, again, down in the description for the fabric pots and raised beds, for the Neptune's Harvest, so you can take advantage of all that with the discount. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.